Virginia, one of the founding states. Is it a lien or is it a deed? A lot of history here. Virginia is not just for lover, it is a deed state. There is so much history, and I'm going to cover all of that in here. There's some great little tidbits about Virginia that makes it so good. I'm so jealous of people that live out in that area. I can do it through the internet and what have you, but you can be in Virginia, you can be all over the place so quickly, and I'm going to show you how to do that from the comfort of your home. This is awesome. Now let's get into Virginia. Virginia is a deed state. Now what that means is when you go to a sale in Virginia and you put your hand up, they say sold, you give them money, you own the property. The cool thing about Virginia is they can hold their sales at any time during the year. In fact, they can do multiple sales. So they don't have to have supplemental sales. They'll just keep selling properties until they're all gone. Now, some interesting facts about Virginia. Thomas Jefferson, some of you that have seen me training in my 3-day workshops have heard me say this. Thomas Jefferson lost his property due to delinquent property taxes. That's right, Monticello. And I want to emphasize that, not to make fun of Thomas Jefferson, because I'm sure he didn't mean to do it. He was really bad financially. I do believe John Adams lent him money to get out of that situation. Not only was Thomas Jefferson the third president, but he lost his property. Okay, he lost his property. Tons of case law on this. Okay, so let's talk about this. You just don't go to any old sale. When you're going to a tax deed sale, you need to make sure you've got some things in place. First of all, if I'm looking at Virginia, I want to look at the whole state. I want to get all the information from the counties. I want to find out exactly when their sales are. They're going to have to post the sale at least 30 days prior. Okay, so in other words, any properties that are coming up for delinquents sale taxes on that, the list of those properties is going to come up 30 days prior. They will have the opening bid at that point. Understand that when you get to the sale of that property, the opening bid could be higher just because of that 30 days. Every little single penny and dime owed to the county is going to be the baseline for that opening bid. So if they had to advertise in the newspaper, if they had to pay somebody to, anything in there is going to be accumulation of the baseline for the opening bid. Now, once the bidding happens, it's going to be the highest bidder is a successful bidder. Remember, anything over the amount of taxes owed on the property, you're going to want to write this down, is called excess funds. Okay, excess funds can be a lot of fun. If opening bid is $5,000 and I bid this thing up to $25,000 and I'm the successful bidder, I would be responsible for the full $25,000. But there's $20,000 in what they call excess funds, overage, some people call them that. So the county isn't allowed to keep that. Now there's two people that can acquire that money. Okay, there's two people. Number one, it's the former property owner that would have to apply for this money. That could take anywhere from 5 to 6 months to get it, whatever that paperwork it is. They have to apply for that money. But who's the first person that can get that money? Any liens or encumbrances that were extinguished from the tax lien certificates would have first right of refusal on that money. If the former property owner applied for this, what they call excess funds, they would look at the title and say, was anybody wiped out because of a failure to pay? And those people would get their check and then what was ever left over on that. So this is crucial because even though I own the property free and clear at the sale, I'm still going to have to clear title on the property. We've talked about this, uncloud it, clean title, and what have you. It's a lot easier if you have a cooperating former owner. So I'm definitely going to want to try to get a hold of those former owners to find out if they're willing to help me with change of title on this. Oh yeah, I just lost my property. Of course I'm going to help you. They might not. You could say, listen, there's a bunch of money that the government owes you on this. I'll show you how to get that money if you go ahead and sign this property over, which will eliminate a lot of the cost and time associated with clearing title on the property. Remember, they're not going to be able to redeem on this property. The only thing they can do is go after the overage on this, so you might have an incentive there. That could be one. Or you could say, listen, if you're willing to assign the overage over to me, I'll go ahead and pay you some cash right now. So maybe there's $20,000 in overage that would be coming to him. You pay him $5,000 right now. They sign everything over. Now you have to file the paperwork and wait the 6 months. Did they win? Yeah, they got $5,000 they didn't get before. Did the county win? Yeah, they got the property back on the tax roll. And did you win? Yeah, you got a property that's worth here under a value on the market. So those are some things that you need to be aware of. Now, before you go to the sale, you must research the property to understand what liens and encumbrances are currently on the property. Make no mistake about it. If you buy a property through the tax deed process, nothing survives that unless they forgot to notify them. So if you're looking at the legal document and you're doing a title search and there's, let's say, 5 people that were owed money on that property, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, again, there's a famous Aunt Sally, a mechanics lien, whatever that is, as long as each one of them are being notified that this property is going into foreclosure, unless somebody comes in within any prescribed time, they're going to tell you that, 120 days, whatever that is, to protect their lien against the property, their position would be eliminated. Now understand, let's say that Wells Fargo had a mortgage. Their only option to protect their position would be to come and pay me off the taxes plus the other things on there. With this situation, it is a tax deed. All of those things are being eliminated right off the bat. All I'm doing is clearing title on the property. So they have no opportunity to come in and do that, okay? So just by me getting the overage on it, all I'm doing is making sure there weren't any other liens and encumbrances on there to make it happen. If they don't notify Wells Fargo before that sale, that lien literally is still in existence. The county made a mistake. So sometimes you'll go to a sale and you'll write up the sale and the county will pull it. And I'll ask them, why'd you pull the property? You know, there was something on the title that was a little goofy. We weren't real comfortable with it, so they pulled it. Or somebody will bring it to their attention, hey, there's a mortgage on here, there's a lien on here that nobody's notifying. That lien holder still has rights to the property. They're like anybody else. Just because it's a tax deed foreclosure doesn't mean they're gonna sneak up on them. What they're gonna have to do is notify everybody on that property. If they don't say anything, they don't do anything, their position is eliminated, okay? So those are some of the things that you're looking at. Remember, thumbs up, subscribe. If you like this information, that's fantastic. Make some comments. If you have any questions you have, something's not clear, hit me up on it. I'll take care of you on it. Thank you very much. Now in Virginia, because it's a deed state, you can start repair on that property immediately. Okay, so in other words, if I'm buying a tax deed, I'm the winning bid. Like we've said in other videos on other states that were deed states that had redemption, With this one, boom, I can start immediately. Michigan is very similar. The reason I'm bringing that up is I have a student right now that just bought a property for $50,000 in back taxes. They already cleaned the property up. They've listed it for $148,000 and they just sold the property. That's in 3 months. Okay, so when you're looking at a deed state without any redemption periods, yes, you need to be careful of all these things that we have already talked about. But remember, this is the quickest way. So if you're that type of person that says, I need to make money right away, this might be the strategy for you, and Virginia could be one of those places. Remember, you're getting the property free and clear. You don't have to wait redemption period. You're not getting an interest rate. All you're doing is getting the property, cleaning title on that. At the same time, if it needs repairs, clean that up, what I like to call the mop and glop, right? Or they say in the industry, a little makeup and lipstick, make it look good. Don't go crazy, okay? Just get it ready for sale and make it happen. Remember, you're dealing with a cash transaction. So in other words, for every dollar you put into that property, you don't get that money back. It's so interesting. I was working on a property and the guy said, hey, there's these new really quiet garage door openers. They don't work on the chain, they work on cables, it's really cool and all this stuff. I said, well, how much is that? And I can't remember, it was like $1,800. And I go, how much is a normal one? And he says, like $1,200. I give me the normal one. He said, well, these are more quiet. I'm not living here. There's so many things you need to look at and how to profit so quickly. And the good news is I've got a brand new free training video right now. Just go to higginsmethod.com. There's great information on there. I think it's some of my best stuff I've recorded. On top of that, you watch that video, and I'll send you out my booklet, America's Best Kept Secret on What Bru's Gonna Tell Me Right Now. I'll send you out a new book called America's Best Investment Strategy, my gift to you. God bless. Be careful out there.